What's up, YouTube? It's Too Tall Shout. Got a special guest today. Getting the shot. Getting the shot.
Man. I'm in the shot.
You got half your ear off and everything.
Cool.
I am Wiz right here, coming to y'all today with a vlog. We talking about the Trayvon Martin case. As everybody knows right now, George Zimmerman is innocent, so he's walking free around the U.S. And today we just want to talk about it. So we're gonna go ahead and let I am Wiz do his thing. Go ahead and start on it, man.
Yeah. I guess first thing is like what a lot of people, the misconception a lot of people have is that he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent. He was just proven not guilty. And a lot of people are upset about the verdict, but the first thing you got to realize is the way our justice system works and the way it's set up, and that the justice system is set up to where the accused is innocent until proven guilty. So the fact that he was found not guilty is not the juror's fault, more so the prosecution. And if anybody kept up with the case in any amount of way, you would see that the prosecution really didn't put together a strong case, and it wasn't completely on them. I think a lot of the fault also goes to the Sanford Police Department, in my opinion, because had they been, completely efficient with the investigation from the beginning, then who knows what could have, what may have happened, how things would have turned out.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the things you have to take into consideration. Doesn't mean that I'm any less angry. I'm upset about how things was handled from the beginning. So the not guilty verdict really didn't surprise me at all, because from the beginning you could see that this was a weak case building. And I mean, basically it worked in George Zimmerman's favor, the way that the justice system is set up, because I mean, on one end you kind of want it to be that way. You want it to be where if there's not sufficient evidence, that's supposed to mean that the person is technically innocent.
Right.
On another hand, when it's that there's no evidence because of lack of I don't know what word to use, but lack of effectiveness or execution by our law enforcement members.
I was thinking about the word. I promise. I was thinking. I got you.
It came to me. It's my first time on video. But when you think about the fact that there was lack of evidence due to inefficient execution by law enforcement, then that's another thing. That's what that's one thing that a lot of people are upset about. And I think the entire situation as a whole, there's so many things about this entire situation that for American people, not just black people, not just white people, American people period, to be upset about because of how the entire thing played out. And it wasn't just the fact that the juror, it wasn't just the 6 jurors, it wasn't just the judge, it was the entire situation, how things were executed in a whole. So that's how I feel about it. Do I think that we should just say, oh well, and shrug our shoulders, that's just how it works? No, I do believe that every American, everybody that pays taxes needs to stand up and voice their opinion about how things like this, not just murder cases, but how law enforcement going forward, how our justice system going forward needs to be amended, or how it should be taken care of. And one thing I was saying when I was speaking with other people about this is that the justice system is going to have flaws, because it's a system that's set up, amended, and executed by human beings. So there's going to be error, there are going to be flaws. There are ways that can be minimized, but there's always going to be flaws. But I think as an American people, we should speak out and make sure that the flaws that we can prevent, that they are prevented.
And do you, like, just not to stop you or anything? Do
Oh,
you
not
think
good.
that certain aspects of the case should never have been there? Like, for example, they gave Trayvon Martin a drug test, and I can understand if it was a traffic accident, but why are they giving the dead man a drug test? And I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if they gave George Zimmerman a drug
A drug
test.
test,
You
right?
know, so where do certain things like that come into play to a case that's so lopsided? You know, in a sense.
I feel like, to me personally, I feel like the whole questioning of Trayvon Martin's character, I believe that could have been left out. Had this been a situation where, you know, there's possibly some drug activity going on, or if things were unknown, if it was unknown, if they had just found Trayvon's body, no George Zimmerman, nobody knows who shot him, then that's different, because then you have to use his character to kind of figure out how he got in that situation. But in this instance, I don't believe that was necessary, because
Right.
regardless of what his character was, we know the situation. George Zimmerman saw him walking one night, not engaging in any criminal activity, but George Zimmerman was suspicious that he could have been. Didn't see any proof. He was just, was accusing him of it, or thought that he could be. So I don't think questioning his character, who he was, has anything to do with the case, because that doesn't give. I don't care if he was a 2-time felon, if he was,
Yeah.
if he was a drug dealer. We don't. I'm not saying that he is, but if he was, at that moment it didn't matter, because he was minding his own business. That's how I feel about it.
And I'm the same way when it comes to the case. I remember when it first came out. I remember hearing it. I was looking at both sides about it. And if I was George Zimmerman, I'm looking outside the window. I see this dude I don't know walk around my neighborhood. I'm like, who is this? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
however, whether I got a gun or not, I'm not about to go outside and chase you and see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? If I look out the window, cool. You know, I look out the window. But looking at Trayvon's side, if I'm walking in the neighborhood or whatever, and this dude start chasing me, yeah, I'm gonna put a little pep in my step. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna probably duck and dive, and then eventually, if he keeps chasing me, I'm like, hey, what do you want? And either way, and like I and Will said earlier, so this person died because they were walking to their destination from the gas station, grocery store, whatever. And I think that regardless of everything, like I hope brought up the whole drug test and everything, and we're taking away from this young man being shot by this grown man.
Right.
We're taking away from that. It doesn't matter who he was on the phone with. It doesn't matter what he had in his pocket. It matters that he got shot by a grown man, a person that's supposed to make a sound decision on what to do.
Exactly.
I mean, whether and like you said earlier, like whether Trayvon had a criminal history or not, he is dead. He got shot and killed for walking, pretty much. And I'm sorry for being so simplistic, but that's what it is. You know what I mean? Well, I don't care if he was high. I don't care if he was drunk. He wasn't doing anything to really cause harm to anybody else nor himself. But apparently he did.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that also played into this is that a lot of people, there were a lot of ifs that were added into this, instead of, justifiably so, because there weren't many facts. There was a lack of a lot of evidence, a lot of facts that we didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a lot of there was a lot of ifs that played into this situation. What if Trayvon was the aggressor? What if George Zimmerman was the aggressor? And a lot of things were, there were a lot of unknowns where people were plugging in their own variables into the equation. And I think, again, that just the fact that our justice system would allow the ifs to play such a big role. I think if you just look at at the